What animal walks on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 at noon, and on 3 in the evening? Asked the Sphinx. It is man who crawls when he is a baby, walks on 2 legs when he is an adult, and leans on a cane in old age, answered Oedipus, the one with swollen feet. There are 2 sisters, one whom begets the other, who in turn begets the first. The Sphinx presented a new riddle. These 2 sisters are day and night, for at dawn, night begets day, and at dusk, day begets night, resolved Oedipus. Oedipus goes on to defeat the Sphinx, who dies pierced by his sword. Some say she commits suicide, others that she simply falls onto the weapon. And then Oedipus enters Thebes, one of the most important cities of antiquity, whose inhabitants receive him as a hero because he has just defeated the monster that was plaguing the city. He becomes the king of Thebes, since there was a royal decree according to which whoever defeated the Sphinx could marry Queen Jocasta and ascend to the throne, a great honor for someone to whom an oracle had said he would murder his father and commit incest with his mother. Wanting to avoid this fate for himself and for those he considered his parents, the kings of Corinth, he decided to leave the city. Oedipus brings prosperity to Thebes and begets 4 children with Jocasta. A few years later, a terrible plague ravages the city, and Oedipus sends Creon, a messenger, to Delphi to ask the oracle about the cause of this misfortune. The oracle responds that the plague will not disappear until the death of Laius, the former king of Thebes, is avenged. To end this evil, Oedipus prohibits anyone from giving shelter or speaking to this man, whoever he may be, and that no prayers or sacrifices to the gods be made for him. He commands that everyone expel him and solemnly requests that the life of the one who committed this crime in secret ends badly. Unknowingly, he himself is the one who committed this crime. His biological father was Laius, the king of Thebes, who had sent him to the mountains to die, because an oracle had told him that if he had a son, the son would kill him. Fate places the baby in the hands of another shepherd, who delivers him to the kings of Corinth, Polybus and Merope, who raise him as their own. When he is older, a drunkard tells Oedipus that he is not the son of the kings of Corinth, and he goes to the oracle to learn the truth. It is there that the oracle prophesies that he will kill his father and marry his mother, and for this reason, he does not return to Corinth and goes to Thebes. Before entering the city, he meets Laius, the king of Thebes, and Polyphontes, the servant who had taken him to the mountain, disguised and unrecognizable, who verbally assault him and threatens him with their weapons. It is there, unknowingly, that he kills his father. The curse he launched against Laius's murderer falls on himself. Jocasta commits suicide, and Oedipus blinds himself to avoid having to look into the eyes of his parents in the afterlife. He renounces the throne and exiles himself to atone for his guilt and to free the city from the plague. Only his pious daughter Antigone accompanies him as he wanders through Greece for the rest of his life. There are various versions of this story, and Sophocles, Oedipus Rex, was considered by Aristotle the most perfect Greek tragedy. It has been used to question, answer, or exemplify various themes and aspects of human beings and their destiny. How much control do we have over our destiny? Sometimes I say that we do not control our destiny, but I also recommend choosing our thoughts, words, and actions to have a good destiny. We use things in the aspects and measures that they are useful for us, and they are useful to the extent that we have control over them. We do not control our destiny in the same sense that we do not control when or where we are born. We do not control when, where, and how we will meet the love of our life, and we do not control when, where, or how we will die. In that sense, we do not control our destiny. We do not control what others say or do. We do not control our feelings. We can modify them by changing what we think or what we do. But the faculty over which we have real control is thought and action. We cannot simply say that we do not want to feel pain, cold, hunger, thirst, sadness, or fear. We can ignore or deny them, but this is also something we do. Feelings are beyond our sphere of direct control, although we can influence them by the way we relate to them. We do control our thoughts, words, and actions. We do not control the sun. We do not control the rain. We do not control how long it takes for corn to grow. But we can control that if we plant corn and take care of the crop, it will be corn that grows. How will your last days be? Only God knows. But I can tell you that if you work, save, and invest, you will have a better economy than if you are lazy, negligent, and licentious. That if you eat well and exercise, you will die just like everyone else. But you will live with more quality and well-being. That if you are generous and cultivate your mind and heart, you will be happier, both in the highs and lows of life. In some cases, the good destiny will be a happy heart in favorable situations. In other cases, a content heart and a peaceful mind amidst unfavorable situations. If our inner self, which is what we are responsible for caring for, is at peace, loving, and joyful, that is a good destiny. The rest is in God's hands. We talk about Oedipus, the most perfect Greek tragedy. To give an extreme example, his city is founded on the death of a dragon at the hands of Cadmus, who guarded the Ares spring. So the god becomes resentful. From the dragon's teeth sown in the earth, the first Theban warriors are born, who kill each other. From the union of Cadmus with Harmonia, Ares' daughter Semele will be born, with whom Zeus will beget Dionysus, the city's patron. Laius, a king of Thebes, forbids the cult of Dionysus and is murdered by a group of followers. Laius is the father of Oedipus. Laius competes for the throne with his cousins and they exile him. He receives asylum from Pelops, who entrusts him to his son Chrysippus to teach him to ride horses. But Laius falls in love with the young man and violates him. Young Chrysippus then commits suicide out of shame. Pelops curses Laius, saying that his lineage will exterminate itself. It is also for that reason that Hera, Zeus's wife, sends the Sphinx to attack Thebes. The Sphinx was the daughter of Echidna and Typhon, parents of all of the most important monsters in Greek mythology. Others say she was born from the Chimera and Orthros, or Typhon and the Chimera, monsters that had even challenged the gods. In the midst of all of that, Oedipus was born. And Oedipus was basically a good person who fled the kingdom he could inherit to avoid harming his parents. He was not to blame for any of the above. Most observations focus on his encounter with the Sphinx or on the parricide and incest he unknowingly committed and his subsequent exile. What happened to him? Already older and about to die, he says in front of Theseus, the legendary king of Athens, "Thus the gods wanted it. perhaps because they had been resentful since ancient times with my lineage, since you will not be able to discover in my own person any reproach for a sin, because of which I have failed myself or my own. Theseus and the chorus of notable elders recognize the truth of this, and they intercede with Creon to give him a dignified burial. In return, he promises for his city a protection greater than many shields and the spear of allied neighbors. This is how the bearer of all evil ends up being a kind of protective deity for the most important city in classical Greece. What is the meaning of all of this? Did things depend on him or not? Is this a good or a bad destiny? Would it have been different if he had acted differently? Would they have put that in his hands if he had different characteristics? Only God knows. Life knows. Things will be simpler and more beautiful for most of us. There are things that are in God's hands, that are in life's hands. It is up to us to be grateful, to love, to create, to strive, and to do it as impeccably as we can. To say that someone is happy, you have to wait until the last moment of their life.